is so exciting because this is the long-awaited HouseHack update, and I promise I gotta sit down and do more of these HouseHack updates because we're gonna start by talking valuation and some of the big questions that a lot of you have, and I'm really excited to talk about that. I have to say I've been a little distracted getting some of the foundations built for where we want to go with HouseHack. Some of it involves some of the testing that I've been doing, and it's all done, passed, 6 tests done in quite frankly 3 months. It's been exhausting. But at the same time, we've also been growing HouseHack. It's just been harder to actually film the updates. So finally, the weight is off the shoulders. The foundations are built. Let's start by talking about share certifications. Q1. In the first quarter, we'll have share certs for the Regulation A fundraise. In total, HouseHack has raised over $40 million. The last Reg A raise we did, we frankly ended it at probably the absolute worst time ever because we had 3 months of the stock market plummeting, basically. We ended the fundraise November 1st. And then from November 1st on, the market's been like, straight up. Regulation A fundraises are much more difficult than like an accredited round. There's a lot more regulation that's involved. The SEC is involved a lot more. There are a lot more financial statement requirements, everything, which is fine. We can handle all of that. But one of the reasons we ended the fundraise there was because we didn't want to just always be in fundraise mode. Some companies are, but I don't want to just be in fundraise mode. I want to be in operating mode. I want to buy properties. I want tenants. I want renovations. I want to build the systems that we can replicate. And that's where sort of the 2 phases of HouseHack come in, which is really important for valuation aspects. See, there's phase 1, which is you could just buy real estate and rent it out, which is great. That's fantastic. Like there is a lot of value to phase 1, but phase 1 is like a 2 times book valuation, and that's cool and all, but it's kind of like a REIT valuation. There's nothing wrong with a REIT. REIT's sort of like, all right, we bought properties, now we're just going to distribute cash flow, and here's your dividend and your 2x book valuation, right? To me, that's a little boring, mostly because I think phase 2 has the potential, obviously not the guarantee, but the potential of not being a 2 times book deal, but rather a 20x revenue deal, something where we essentially become this service company that is able to take wedge deals and turn wedge deals into cash. And that, I think, is where the real potential is in HouseHack, where HouseHack isn't a 2x book value that grows a little bit as it acquires property. But instead, it's a company that has basically made it not make sense anymore for companies like Redfin or Zillow to ever touch home renovations or Open Door. All these companies with these billion-dollar plus valuations, we actually think we can provide a better product, better service, and we think we can blow past their valuation if we get phase 2 down. So phase 1 is the easy part. Phase 1 is the part I have experience in doing, acquiring great real estate, acquiring great deals, and renting out properties. That to me is not the hard part. The hard part is going to be phase 2. Phase 2 is still ahead of us. Phase 1, that's easy. So we believe now that we're an operating company, and this is our belief, no like third-party valuation or whatever, it's simply looking at comps from an operating point of view, we believe that the value of HouseHack and anybody who's invested in HouseHack is worth at least, in our opinion, no guarantees, 50 to 100% more already. The reason we believe that is because, first of all, we raised at a 1-to-1 valuation. Now, if you look at an Invitation Homes or an American Homes for Rent, which is basically similar to a phase 1, and then you stop at phase 1, you're at 2 times book. Okay, well, if we have $40 million, let's say, deployed in real estate, or, $35 million deployed in real estate, whatever, and let's say there's a wedge on that, and so you've got, I don't know, $45 million of real estate or whatever it is, well, then the company could be worth somewhere between $70 to $90 million. Well, that's easily already an additional 50 to 100%. So we really believe that everybody who has already invested in HouseHack, now that we're operating and we're buying deals and we're acquiring deals, single family deals, we're working on multifamily deals, everything. Now that we're operating, we've actively rented properties to tenants, we believe our valuation is higher. Now, again, that's not third-party verification. We can't guarantee that. We can't take it to the bank. It's not like these shares are trading on the stock market. We go, look, the chart went up, right? Hopefully we could do that down the road. If we can IPO this decade and we can get phase 2 done, we'll IPO this decade is my hope. That's my hope, right? But I really think phase 2 is going to be the fun part. Now we're going to go through some footage here of some of the, just kind of so I can show you what's going on the ground, and we'll react to it a little bit. But what I really want you to think about as a HouseHack investor is how you could help going forward. And there are 2 ways. Number 1, we'll probably call for warrants in Q1. No guarantees, but we think we'll call for warrants in Q1. We may do an accredited investor round at like 1.5 or more, maybe 2x of the valuation we did previously. So that'll be potentially the last fundraise that we do. No guarantees, but if phase 2 works, we won't have to fundraise ever again, we believe. That's mostly because phase 2 is all about Minifunds. It's basically how can we take these properties and manage them for free so we become the best, most desirable product for people to allocate their money and diversify into real estate in and collect their yield. And we become the company that enables that yield. So remember, HouseHack, you've always known this since day one. It's not your dividend play. It's supposed to be a capital appreciation play. Because if I can build the systems, which we believe we can in phase 2, then we can provide people a lot of value in cash flow from owning stakes of our real estate at a post-wedge valuation, and HouseHack pockets the difference. That, hopefully, will be excellent cash flow for HouseHack that we could then repeat throughout not just the multiple states we're in, but everywhere in America, and maybe even in the future, HouseHack Canada, eh? No, obviously, this is optimistic. There is a lot of work to be done between then and now. So let me give you an example of a little bit of that work. So far we've talked about share certs Q1. We've talked about valuation for HouseHack, my belief of the valuation. And I want to be crystal clear that not a single dime of HouseHack money has been spent on the bird. That's all me. And some people are like, oh my gosh, Kevin, that's ludicrous. Like, why would you spend $13 million of your own money on a plane? Because if you're spending $13 million on a plane and you're paying for operating it, $2 or $3 million a year, you better believe you're building something big. And my belief is that we could potentially create a multi-billion-dollar company. And so that is a tiny down payment on what I think is going to be a massive opportunity. Again, I want to be clear, this isn't a marketing video. I'm not trying to raise funds here. This is just being totally candid about what I think about the future of HouseHack. It could be totally wrong. If phase 2 doesn't work, then we might get sandbagged at just, a 2x basically, like an Invitation Homes or American Homes for Rent, which that's not bad either, but it's not what I'm going for. So now I know there are going to be a lot of questions, just like there always have been, about exactly what that phase 2 entails. Obviously, there is a limit to how much I could say without, let's just say, poisoning the well of competition, right? So we think what we're doing is so innovative that it will be very apparent very quickly that this is going to be the way things are done in the future. And so there'll be a lot of copycats. And so we are guarding some of the things that we're extremely excited about, that we are very optimistic about, but obviously we can't make guarantees for. We're holding that kind of close to the chest for now, which obviously every company should do. And again, no guarantees that would work. I think phase 1 is kind of in the bag. That's the easy part. I think that, things could still go wrong, but it's come on, buying real estate. It's not brain surgery, okay? Phase 2 though, that's going to be really exciting. So how could you help? Well, if you want, you could participate in the future if we do a fundraise, but that would be down the road, and you'd have to read the PPM and all the disclosures and disclaimers at that point, and obviously there's risk involved in that. And the second thing to consider is when we start with our mini funds, I would highly encourage you evaluating those, and that'll become a lot more clear as another investment for you as well. Maybe. Not personalized financial advice, things for you to TBD. So now let's hop into some footage that we have from On the Road and HouseHack Let's get into that.
Right now, I'm standing outside of what is going to be the first of many properties we are looking at today in today's HouseHack update. We are so excited that we are fully operational at HouseHack. Our fundraising rounds are closed. We are funded and operational. The one-to-one valuation is over. We are up from here, knock on wood, hopefully. We're very, very excited. I'll find some wood in a moment. But first, this right here is expected to be somewhere around a $775,000 to $840,000 property. We've got active comps in the neighborhood in the 8 to mid-8 region. We've got sold comps in the high 7s. This property needs some love though, and it's just the first that we're looking at. And the good news is we got it with a 5 in the front. So we've got a lot of room, potentially up to $250,000, maybe even $300,000 of spread between the end value of this, what we paid for it, which is exciting because it means the work it needs, we're gonna be able to do. Let's take a quick peek at it. Now, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through multiple different properties we have in this area. I just wanted to mention for HouseHack investors, one of the things that I'm doing is I am licensing HouseHack as a real estate brokerage, and then we're going to have MLS access in all the various different areas we're working in. So that way, even when we're working with other agents, I can get into key boxes without having to wait for them to show up, or if they can't make it out, I could let myself in and I could still work with people bringing us deals, which is a really good feature. And it's a tool. This place, we'll do a more detailed walkthrough in a different video, but as you can see, it needs a little bit of love. HouseHack is all about taking properties that are not livable, like, I mean, this one's got mold in it, and turning it into homes that people can actually live in. Originally, when I started like getting into business, everybody's like, yeah, be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur and people are like, business is taking away homes. And we don't feel that way at all. I mean, this home is empty right now. Look at all this mold on the wall right here. I'll let you in here. Look at this. I mean, nobody could live in here. We shouldn't even be in here. So these are things where you need somebody who can come in, who's not a home buyer, and actually bring this supply to the market, whether it's somebody wanting to rent it or buy it in the future. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to transform this property. Oh, wow, there's a receipt here. No, it's a lottery ticket. Oh, no. Yeah, 2018 was that's probably honestly the last time somebody lived in here, which is crazy. That means for 5 years, this property's probably been sitting here vacant, which is really sad because that is one of the reasons homes are unaffordable, is because there aren't enough people actually renovating homes like this and bringing them to the sale or rental market. So we decided to go for a sedan because what we realized is, even though we kind of have to sandwich into them, they're $68 delivered plain side. So HouseHack pays $0 for that travel, except for the $68 for the car, which that's kind of cool. What is this? This place is way too nice. What did you do, McKay? Where's the mold? You already covered it all up again? Who did this? This is beautiful. Look how sexy that caulking line is. A little bit of wet rag right there to clean up a little bit. But otherwise, dang, that is nice. It's too easy, man. We could do these all day long. Boy, this is a nice neighborhood. I like this place. Ever wonder what a bolted foundation looks like? It's literally foundation wall, bolt. See that bolt? See, this is one of those old school cabs where they don't have the veneer in the middle, but they're actually 2 veneers. So it's veneer on one side, veneer on the other side. So you get this double veneer, which makes it look like it's a solid door, but it's really just also a thin wood frame, then with 2 veneers. It's kind of cool. Is this thing actually vented? Oh, wow. Look how cute that is. Good panel. Look at that, fully labeled. This is nice. Water heater.
How do you guys
scrapped?
Just maintenance?
Oh, this is nice. Dude, this is a nice place. I like this deal. You even got the chimney cap. This is a good one. Oh, look at that roof. Now, we just looked at a gorgeous wedge deal. I mean, there's probably honestly $200,000 of wedge deal in that one. Is amazing. What I love seeing though is, first of all, the neighborhood. Look how clean this is. I mean, I love the Christmas decorations over here. I love whatever is going on over here. This is a beautiful over improvement for the neighborhood. If we go this way, We can see those larger windows over there. It's kind of like you're in Utah or something, looking out onto the snow mountains or whatever. This is great. You're seeing people over improve in the neighborhood, and I love that. I also love seeing progress get done, but I really want to show this one off too over here, because they did something here with the roof that's expensive, and I like seeing that they literally boxed off their AC condenser. So that way you don't have to see the AC condenser from the street. The fence, their fence, looks gorgeous. Landscaping's in great shape. It looks brand new. Not cheap to do this. And we go right here. Look at this house. Also, nicely landscaped. Love the trees and the colors out here. The weather's great too. Brand new roof over here as well. This is adorable. I want to be in neighborhoods where people have stuff like that. This is great. Like, they're going to bring us cookies, but I want to bring them cookies. I want to beat them to it. So this roof wrap along the edge over here, extra money. They spent money on this. And the landscaping, at some point they spent a lot of money on it, but look at the brickwork, the block work, stonework they've done around the edge of the house with the dual pane windows. Those are like a 90s dual pane. And then, I mean, this is all very expensive to do this. Look at how modern, almost, I mean, like modern oldish it looks, right? Point is, they've spent a lot of money improving, and I love seeing that, although they still have the old alarm box from the 1960s. I think we got the worst one in one of the best neighborhoods. And yeah, this is the goal. If we can average out a good $100,000 of gross profit for every 500 to 600K we put into deals, HouseHack's gonna crush, man. We're doing really good so far. Let's keep it up. So here we are. We've got another project. This one looks like it's had a little bit of handiwork on it. We've got some arcing going on at the outlet over here. It looks like, see, none of this is stapled. So it looks to me like somebody's run some of their own funky stuff. So it's a little funky when I see that sort of stuff, do-it-yourself handiwork, if you will. We've got a broken door here we're gonna have to replace. So far, I'm only counting one door that's broken. And it's a master, so it'd be okay to make that a 2-panel, hollow core 2-panel. I don't like going back to the 6-panel. So eventually we just move everything to 2-panel. 6-panel is just so 2003. Then we'll skip can lights over there. The place is lit well enough, so it'll save us some money. We don't need to spend money unnecessarily. All this little junky stuff can go. We probably are gonna, let's see if we need new fart fans. Usually they're really loud and annoying. Oh, it's horrible. So let's ask the electrician to remove the fart fans in all the bathrooms too, because we will end up replacing those. However, he might have to buy them first, because sometimes the motors are bigger and then you have to drywall patch.
I actually just bought one from my other house.
Yeah, so, and if you have to replace the motor and then you have to drywall patch, we want to do that before painting.
Yeah.
So he should get Moen. You could write this down. Moen, I think, has them. But what you really want is 2 Sone, 2.0 space SONE. That's the noise volume. Nothing more than that. Like, that's the ideal level for tenants. They need to trim this palm tree and this one, and then this needs to be painted, because 90% of this fence is visible, whereas the other property has maybe 20% of its fence visible, and of what's visible, most of it's in good shape. This is like all you're looking at is fence. Maybe you do grass here. Here's like a nice little grass patch, and then this could be mulch, and then you could do rocks in the other sections. So that way it's not too much grass and too much maintenance for tenants to kill. So as you can see, the last two haven't actually looked that bad. Now, we've already done some of the work, like removing trash and demoing old flooring. So we've already been making them look a lot better, but every single one of these properties that we've been going into has probably been an average of $120,000 to maybe $150,000 of wedge deals. That's 3 in a row. That means 3 properties that we're all looking at same day and working on renovating and scaling out our infrastructure in an area. And the whole point of HouseHack is, how can we keep that cycle going over and over and over and over again, so that way we could take homes that are vacant and not lived in and bring families into them, or whomever wants to rent them, and then of course bring that supply to the housing market that isn't otherwise being used. That's the big game plan. And if it could be win-win-win, where we win, our investors win, the people who invest in the Minifunds win, which those Minifunds are going to be a great deal. I'm going to invest in them personally. And we can provide great quality housing for tenants, then it's just winning all around. And that's what I love so much about what we're doing with HouseHack. It makes me so excited. Just because it's fun for the memes. I have to make sure I don't crack tiles. They're very easy to crack, so you have to stand where they overlap, but they might still crack anyway. Really? They put a little piece of tape here? Knuckleheads. All this dirt right here is all gonna pool, and then it'll lead to water getting under our felt here. So you probably need a roofer to touch this up. It's not a hard job, and the tile's here, but a roofer can touch that up pretty simply. Meet Kevin's Discount Roofing, available for service. This is why we exist, to fix stuff. Mold! See, look at all that water damage coming out from under there. It's been a problem. Come on, puppy. I've never been locked in before, but this is pretty funny. I'll try that again. After I figure out why there's water coming down. It's the angle valve. It broke.
Yeah.
You gotta turn off the water to the house.
Okay.
So this is exactly why we always replace the angle valves. Like the second we close, we send a plumber in, replace the angle valves, because they always leak. I also don't like doing lock boxes under faucets for this reason, because they will be rusted out in like 30 days. And then you take a $20 or $30 lockbox and it turns into trash. So I'm just gonna move it. I'm gonna let it dry out a little bit. And when we leave, I'll move it. When you're in a building and you put the lockbox on, the code, you go inside and you're working inside, you close the door, whatever. Somebody who's walking by could be like, look at your lockbox really quick. And then they'll come back later if they had malintent, and they could steal all your stuff. Now that's usually only when people have that forethought and they really want to steal your stuff. It's a good idea to scramble the box when you go in a home. 99% of people will leave the code in there. Now the other thing that's kind of cool is I could come in here when we're traveling to find our deals, after I've done YouTube, I write offers. So for example, we've got an offer deadline in about 30 minutes for a particular property. And so now I'm popping in here and knocking out the offer. And that to me makes life pretty easy because we can DocuSign and email it away. So now as we're mobile, I can drop an offer into this and it templates everything, all my signature placement and everything. Boom, look how delicious that looks. It even gives me the little fancy realtor logo. I love this. As soon as I hit finish on this, it'll automatically carbon copy to the other agent, my team, with proof of funds, asterisks, cash offer, everything clean. We're already in communication with the offer or with the agent. The deadline's in like 23 minutes, so we should be one of the last people in, which is exactly how I like it. And so I think I've got 2 more clicks here, that's it. And then I click finish, boom. I've had this laptop open. I opened it up at 7% battery. I'm at 4% battery now. Boom, for signed and submitted. It's that simple, while we're mobile. It's how you're efficient. I mean, imagine doing this 20 years ago. It'd be a lot harder. Welcome to another rental. This one's about ready to go on the market. We've got 2, maybe 3 drywall patches left to go, a little bit of mulch and grass, and a final touch-up cleaning. This already looks a million times better than what it was before. We're gonna turn on some lights over here. This is great. This is a fantastic property, a lot of work done, nice new sparkly quartz over here. Here's some of the things that we've got to just trash or sort to save for the next property since we have some extra material. But otherwise, this is a fantastic house. Massive changes. The kitchen looks vastly better. And the entire grow room that was over here has been removed. Take a look at this. Now we got ourselves a nice, some leaves have blown in here, and we got to remove some of the miscellaneous leftovers, but that's part of the leftover 5%. But otherwise, this is gorgeous compared to what it was. So we're pretty excited about being able to rent this out. The last thing we had to do was go to City Hall so we could get pre-approved building plans for a special project we have out in the same city. It's also for HouseHack, and it's going to be a great opportunity for HouseHack. So we're really excited about working with the city on it. So stay tuned for more information on that. But what was really cool was not that they didn't let me film in there, but rather that when I sat down at the city building and safety department, they're like, hey, you're Meet Kevin from YouTube. So fingers crossed that works out well for us, but we'll work obviously reasonably with them. Positive business relationships for the win. We're rocking and rolling.
That was a pretty like OG original HouseHack kind of style housing update. Remember what we did for 2022? It was building the foundations of what we were going to create with HouseHack. Most of 2023 was educating ourselves on exactly how we wanted to execute. And then I've said since the get-go, we will buy real estate in Q3 and Q4 of 2023. And we have done exactly what we said. You know, people like to say, oh, Kevin, he changes his mind often. People who pay attention realize I'm actually remarkably consistent with what I do, and that when I change my mind, there's a very important reason for that change. If a market is telling you not to do something, then don't do it. If a market is telling you to do more of something, then you should do that. It would be stupid not to change your mind as you get more information. So as far as what HouseHack is specifically doing right now, we have a closed escrow on multiple properties. We're in escrow on multiple more. We'll probably by the end of the year, end of January, I'd say, we'd probably be somewhere, not including multifamily real estate, probably around 10 to 15 houses remodeled and rented out, somewhere in that range by the end of January. We're a few properties rented out already. So we've already got tenants, which is very exciting. We've got security deposits. We're basically already at every level of phase one. So we're an operating company, which is great. We earned over $750,000 in interest from some of the treasuries that we have. And we also still have treasuries, which what's great about that is we're working with JP Morgan on some opportunities where we can kind of leverage some of the funds we have with our treasuries to where we can kind of milk some of the appreciation of some of those 6 to 1 year T-bills a little longer, rather than selling them as we need them to buy real estate, which is great because I mean, they're yielding almost what we would be paying in interest, and we get capital appreciation on that as well. So a little bit of a credit arb, as well as building a relationship with JP Morgan for HouseHack, which is also really exciting. The fact that JP Morgan called me and they're like, we love what you're doing with HouseHack. Can we be your bankers forever? And like, what can we do for you? How about interest only, revolving credit lines? So like whatever you need, we'll set it up for you. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. So obviously, there's always a risk that comes with debt, and I'm not the biggest fan of debt. I actually think that HouseHack in the long term is a company that really doesn't need to have debt because we're not going to finance the real estate. That's where the Minifunds come in, and financing will work with them. So financing for HouseHack isn't critically important, but I mean, this is just the nature of being the CEO and running the company. There's a lot to run. So in addition to the single families and the JP Morgan information, then we've also got some multifamily deals cooking, which is wild that there are actually really good deals to pick up in multifamily right now, which I'm excited to share all of these details in terms of locations of where we're buying, the prices, the yields, the rents, renovations, before and afters. A lot of that is really going to be down the road, probably when we launch phase 2. That'll be, here are addresses, here are rent rolls and all of that. We're not at that place yet now. So you're getting updates as they're available and as they are reasonable to prepare and share, because obviously there's a risk of oversharing too early that limits our competitive advantage. So we are also, from a market POV, excited that basically exactly what we thought so far would happen has been happening in the real estate market, and the opportunities we've been looking for, we've been finding. Interest rates started coming down a little quicker than we actually thought here in Q4. So it has slightly increased competition a little bit, but I can work in every single market. And I'm also very curious to utilize some of the dry powder we'll have in Q1 as the springtime rolls around and sellers start getting like, yeah, now I'm gonna have my chance to sell. I wonder if we'll see an inventory saturation, but we'll be well positioned for no matter ultimately what happens in the market. That's the point of HouseHack, is that we're market independent. We're not dependent on the market. But with that, let's actually go to yet another mobile update that we have for HouseHack. We've got 2 big financial deadlines coming up. We've got one financial deadline for non-audited reporting coming out here in December. That will be filed with Edgar on the sec.gov website. That's the 6-month. That'll be the financial update taking us through June 30th, 2023. Reg A requires semi-annual financials.
So that'll be out through June 30th, which won't give you much of a glimpse into actually operating expenses. So the OpEx will be really, really low through June 30th. The OpEx will be substantially higher for the next 6 months, obviously, because now we actually have, instead of one part-time person on payroll and us just kind of getting the ground set up and taking Treasury's interest, which we've earned like over $700,000 of Treasury's interest, now we're moving into, okay, now we have 11 people on payroll and now we're building the systems. Remember, HouseHack isn't a company where we're just trying to buy 40 or 50 properties and then be done. That's not the point of HouseHack. HouseHack is not a business that's just buying real estate and therefore you're getting a slice of the real estate. In the future, you'll know exactly where we're buying, how much we're buying, what the rents are, all that kind of stuff, because it'll be part of our mini funds. But HouseHack is designing the company, is building the system that creates mini funds. So you're investing or have invested at a one-to-one valuation in a system that we try to replicate, that we think we can scale to doing thousands of homes. So with that said, we've got an appointment to get to. Let's get going to that. We're gonna hop on, take a flight here. And the big thing that I've noticed too is gotta meet people in person. It is so important. Like it's fine to do texting and email and stuff for updates, but when I go meet with our auditors or our accountants or our software team or whatever, it is so much easier to get things done in person. And there are less miscommunications. We actually become more efficient faster. Faster we can become more efficient faster, better it is for the whole company. So let's talk more throughout the day.
So here we had a microphone poop out. So this is me exploring a multifamily deal that a developer needs to sell. They actually seem like a very, very high quality developer. And, we think we're able to negotiate something that's win-win for everyone, HouseHack investors, the sellers, and quite frankly, everybody involved. See, if you have been part of the real estate courses, you'll actually remember that there are multiple different ways to get wedge deals. And it is not only doing work. And that's the beautiful thing about understanding real estate and being able to scale.
I want to be clear. I think a lot of people misunderstand a big thing about what we're doing with HouseHack. We're not doing what we're doing because it's easy, because if it were easy, somebody else could have done it already. We're doing it because I believe I have the systems to make it work at scale. And so that's what we're investing in. And so this to me is very exciting. It's kind of, some parts of it are kind of gross too, but I could see this actually being a pretty amazing property.
That's a pretty exciting full HouseHack update here. What else is there to mention? Well, there's a lot of work, and it's all about building relationships with people within the industry, inspectors, vendors, contractors, bill pay systems, accounting systems, management of employees, and growing and developing with employees, because people have to be excited. People have to feel like they're fulfilling a purpose and adding value. And so trying to respect everybody's levels while also being a manager, it's very difficult, it's very challenging, but it's so rewarding. And I think we're absolutely crushing it. We've got the right people in the right places, and everybody couldn't be more excited about what we're doing, because I think on the inside, we're all looking going, wow, yeah, yes. Again, I don't want to sound overly optimistic because I don't want the SEC to think this is like me trying to market or whatever. And it's, I think, the most honest update we can provide. It's the valuation comps are very well there for phase one. And quite frankly, we're very, very excited about the future. But you would hope that every CEO would be. Anyway, stay tuned for more updates. I love you all. I love all of your support. And definitely buckle up for the next fundraise in the event that you are excited. Stay tuned. We'll have updates in the event that we do another fundraise. In the meantime, of course, we'll keep bringing more HouseHack updates. Sorry, this one was a little bit on the longer side, but I owe it to y'all. Stay tuned. And if you got any questions, leave them down below. Thanks. Bye.